Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of True Stories to Tell in the Dark. You ready for some doozies in this one? It's pretty creepy. It made me paranoid even just recording it. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it, shall we? Leave a like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, and tell a friend. This happened back in 2012, and luckily I had a witness. It was the first week of June. Me and my girlfriend applied to a college in Fort Lauderdale. We had to attend the orientation class. My mom and sister didn't have to work that same week, so we decided to drive my sister's car so we didn't have to rent something while we were there. We started heading out around 2 or 3 a.m. because we figured we'd avoid a fair amount of traffic by doing so. We live in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. By the time we got to Maryland, it was about 5 or 6 in the morning. The sun was slowly rising and it was pretty cloudy. Everything around us seemed to have a grayish light blue tint to it. For some reason, the GPS we used took us through town instead of just putting us on the highway. My mom and sister were in the back seat, knocked out, mouths agape and drooling. The speed limit was no higher than 35 miles per hour. Me being who I am, I started looking at our environment, and after a few minutes I noticed that there's no traffic or people on these streets. I made a comment to my girlfriend about the lack of everything, and she agreed. We came across a few traffic lights that didn't work, and all the houses around us also had no power. And like I said before, there was no one anywhere. I felt a little creeped out, but I didn't let it bother me. A few minutes later, we hit one of those long strips of car dealerships. And to no surprise, everything was dead. There were a bunch of new cars in their respective lots. Signs of sales and whatnot were hung up on the buildings. I forgot to mention that this whole time there were random broken branches and stuff around the sidewalks, as if a storm had came through and ruined a few trees. The street stretched and went up a hill. We reached the peak and went down the other side. This is when shit started getting weird. There was a wall of fog on the horizon, so thick you couldn't even see light through it. We passed the last of the car dealerships, and there were empty lots with nothing but low grass and trees on either side of the road. I kept driving, and into the dense fog we went. After a few minutes, we were crossing a bridge, and the scene completely changed. There were 2 bridges, the one we were on, and the one for opposing traffic. The sides on these bridges were no higher than 4 feet, and there weren't any supports on the bottom visible. It was like someone just placed a long strip of metal across this void. This void was filled with trees. Everything was green around us. At the other side of the bridge, the road began to narrow. It forced me to keep my eyes glued on the road, and I didn't want to slow down to check everything out. I got super focused on the road when it got narrow, and that's what prevented me from checking everything out. When we got through to the other side, the road started going uphill. Lots of trees lined either side of the road. But this time the hill was steeper, nearly 45 degrees if I had to venture a guess. At the top of the hill we arrived in a residential area. The houses didn't look abandoned, and we saw some cars driving the opposite way. After a few blocks, we get to a traffic light. It was flashing yellow, similar to when they lose power. Similar to before, there were leaves on the road and branches broken everywhere. After a few minutes, we started seeing more and more cars, and people walking around. The clouds clear up as we're driving, and the roads turn into one of those highway main streets with 3 lanes and traffic lights at every other intersection. I was more troubled about what just happened than my girlfriend. My mom and sister didn't wake up until we hit Interstate 95 South an hour later. My girlfriend did agree it was weird, but we didn't touch the subject until we got back home a week later. We met up with my two best friends and we were both telling them about what happened. They were also very intrigued. I asked my girlfriend about that incident every now and then to make sure I didn't imagine it. She remembers it exactly as I described it. My first thought was, oh, what if we somehow stumbled into Silent Hill and casually strolled out, jokingly. I never quite figured out what type of criteria I'd have to type into Google to find similar experiences, so I let it go until now. What do you think happened? Has something similar happened to you? To start, this picture is what happens now when I come in contact with silver. This all started in 2011. Started noticing strange things happening to me. I would get strange black marks where I used to wear silver bracelets. I started hearing things and seeing shadows at night in my back garden and places in the house. The most terrifying thing happened when I had a dream of a little girl standing in the middle of a road, and it was raining, and for some reason I had the date and time on my wrist. March 12th, 2016. As if this wasn't strange enough, the girl spoke and said, "You cannot escape what lives inside you." She caught fire, disappeared, and then the dream ended. I have awoke multiple times with a cold sweat, and I've looked only to see the dark outline of a young girl staring at me in my room. Even stranger still, I had tried going to a church to seek help, but for some reason I couldn't bring myself to enter it. It was like I was no longer in control of my body and couldn't take a step closer. I tried to read a Bible, but when I pick it up and open it, all of the words are blurry and I cannot make anything out of it. Now for the strangest part. I went to visit a psychic to help me. When I walked in, she looked at me and a look of disgust, hatred even, came over her and she said, "I know what you are, and you're not welcome." I went to ask her what it was, what she saw, but the words wouldn't form. It was like I lost control again. I couldn't open my mouth and had no control over my legs. I slowly walked out. Any attempt I made to stop or speak was useless. I am haunted by reoccurring dreams of this little girl on the same road, with every detail the same but one. What she says has changed. It scares the shit out of me. She says, "You cannot escape. No one can help you. You belong to me. You cannot escape what lives inside you." I have made attempts at praying, but the words just won't come out. Can't ask God for forgiveness or protection. I feel hopeless. A recent name pops up in my dreams before the girl sets on fire. Abaddon. The girl said, "Abaddon has need for you. Abaddon has need for you." But I have no idea who this person is. Is it some sort of fucking wizard? This is the last place I can turn to because everywhere I go for help I am turned down, told to simply leave, or I'm ignored. Please help me. I don't know what's happening. Please don't turn me down. When I was around 10 years old, I had some friends over for a birthday sleepover. It was around 3 in the morning and we got hungry, so we went to my kitchen and began to make sandwiches. When I looked outside of my sliding glass door, I saw something on my porch. A silhouette in the darkness. I turned on the porch light and had the life scared out of me. There was a huge thing on my porch. It was a man-sized dog-looking thing with these glowing reddish eyes, huge fangs, and its body was pink and hairless. It dashed off into the field in my backyard as soon as it saw me. I swore I saw it turn into a human being and keep running. My friends saw the thing, but they didn't see the part where he turned into a man. Alright, fast forward 7 years. April 20th, 2014. It was about 2 a.m. and I had some friends over again. I heard something on my porch. Again. I looked out the window and couldn't see anything. I looked at my friend, shrugged, then looked back out the window. A face appeared out of nowhere, and I fell back in shock. I looked back out the window to see the person running away, but he turned into something with a tail and 4 legs and kept running down my driveway. No one else saw the transformation this time either. Then, just a few nights ago, I saw it once more. I was downstairs making a sandwich in the middle of the night, and I realized somebody was trying to get into the porch door. I turned the outside light on, and there it was. Something about 6 feet tall with the head and arms and legs of a fox, clutching a tall medicine staff, and was pawing at the outside of the door near the handle trying to get in. Its face was painted with traditional Navajo symbols. I live near a reservation, as was its entire body. I fell over and then scrambled back upstairs, where I clutched a knife in my bed for the rest of the night. I think I'm being stalked by an ancient Anasazi witch, otherwise known as a skinwalker. I'm scared to sleep or look out my window at night, and I don't know what to do. If anyone has tips on how to get rid of them, that would be much appreciated. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of True Stories to Tell in the Dark. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Follow us on Facebook. That episode was really, really scary to record. I had a couple times where I was walking to work at like 3 in the morning, and swear to God, I thought something was following me. I heard footsteps and I would turn around and there was nothing there. But it was just probably my mind playing tricks on me. Anyways, guys, you have a good night. Don't be afraid. It's just the dark.